It's your girl, Shirley,
My name is Joyce.
April.
and we're born to speak.
Yes, Born to Speak is a platform for the youth to come in and just have a platform to speak their minds, to be able to discuss things that they don't feel comfortable talking with their parents about, or to feel heard. Give them a place where they can come and just express themselves. And so Shirley's was the one who said that the podcast would be a good idea, right? And so we decided to go ahead and do something for the youth, and it's definitely born from Big Youth Ministry, something that is connected with it. It's a nonprofit organization to help the youth get involved in the community, and so this is all in connection with allowing the kids to be involved in the things that we do on a day-to-day basis.
And have a voice, because sometimes they don't always feel like they have a voice or their outlet. And we're so excited that we want to hear them chime in and hear their perspective of what's going on and their reality of it, because we can see it from an adult's perspective.
Right.
And everybody got a story, and we just can't wait to see that from their side and also chime in with the parent side, and
Right.
we're just going to have so many people from different avenues coming in
Yeah.
to speak on that. So
Yes, we definitely want to see views from the lenses of children's eyes, because sometimes as adults, you know, we only see things one way, and sometimes we silence children and don't allow them to have that voice. But knowing that everyone is born to speak.
Right.
When I was a youth, you know, when I was younger, some of the things that you know, we faced, you know, growing up, bullying, you know, peer pressure. But I feel like the world has really evolved, and
Right.
some of the things that our youth is facing now is totally different than the things that we faced.
I agree.
from the social media perspective alone, we didn't have
Right.
that. So it's
Right.
like, you know, just to start seeing that, we had face-to-face bullies. You know,
Yeah.
we had to deal with them with that, and the only people we could tell was either our immediate friends or our family.
Right.
And now it's
Right.
way out of proportion. And just to see what they're facing, because we're from a whole nother different era.
Right.
Exactly.
And they have a road ahead of them, but you know, we also want to be that avenue and to help wedge that gap and to get them where they need to be and be
Yeah.
resourceful in any way, shape, or form, because we have to grasp them.
Yeah.
Because if we don't grasp them, I feel like we're losing them.
Right.
I definitely want to have some of youth as our guests, because can't have a podcast without giving them that actual voice. And just being a parent, I think about my daughter. She's, you know, coming of age. The things that she's going to face that I've never had to deal with. You know, now in schools they're trying to enter into same unisex bathrooms. You know, the school systems are changing, and I just really want to bring to life that you don't have to be afraid to use your voice. You know,
Yeah.
you never want to lose your voice, because your voice is your power.
Right.
And so I feel like I'm going to be able to give them that power.
And that's important because a lot of kids don't feel comfortable talking to their parents or talking to an adult in their family or talking to people in their circle. It's not that they don't love them or don't feel comfortable with them. It's that they don't trust them.
Right.
You know, and trust is something that we all battle growing up. And it could be something very, very simple that may deter us from wanting to trust or being able to trust someone, even if it is a family member. So that's important for us to, talk to the youth about those things.
Yeah, I just think, just when we were young, that I was scared to share with especially with my parents, because I had that fear of being judged, that fear of, did I do something wrong? Is it wrong how I feel?
And back then it was cutthroat. It was right and wrong.
Right.
But we're in a different era and we want to be able to connect with them.
Yes.
I think that's the biggest point of connecting with them. And how do we connect? Because each one of us has
Especially being
children.
mothers,
So how do we connect with them in a
Yeah.
whole nother world we're not even used to? See, our parents could be like, hey, I've been there, done that, and they have, and that era it changed, but it wasn't as drastic.
Yes.
And I think today it's a drastic change.
Right.
And we need to tap into that change.
Something else I noticed is that a lot of things get swept under the rug.
Yes.
A lot of
Yes.
things is private in home, and it's like it's okay. That's okay for things to be in home, but in order for us to grow, sometimes we have to seek advice or seek help outside the home.
And
And sometimes, if our parents don't make us feel comfortable and okay with talking to them, then how are they going to get the help that we need?
Yes.
So with it being swept under the rug, sometimes those things have to be confronted. A lot of parents don't want to do that because maybe something they dealt with. And I had to learn that I cannot fault my parents for not dealing with something a certain way or how I expected them to deal with it. Because maybe they just didn't know how. And so that's the
and that was
generational curses we
definitely
have to
our
break.
back then era. Because we can speak on our parents. It definitely was swept under the rug. And don't you bring it outside the house kind of thing. And now that therapy and counseling, back then I feel like it wasn't okay in their eyes. It's okay to say I don't know. It's okay to face our fears and to deal with what's going on, because we can't move forward until in the future until we deal with our past.
And it's okay to say, I need help.
Right.
I need help. I need
Asking
someone
for
to
help.
talk to. I need to let this out, because when you hold something in, I just think of myself, all of the things that I held in and how it changed who I was. Like I wasn't able to be myself because I was holding so much in, and it caused me to almost wear a mask.
Right.
Like I wasn't.
You become unidentifiable.
Yes.
But so those are different topics we'll talk about. Bullying.
Yeah, definitely.
We're definitely going to talk about rape, molestation.
Yes.
We're going to talk about how the world is evolving, where, like you said, unisex bathroom, how that make them feel as, a young girl or a young man, how do they feel with the opposite sex coming into the bathroom with them? Because that's private for them.
Right.
That's why they have stalls and doors and
Right.
stuff. It's private for them. So we'll talk about things like that, and having them on the show is definitely something that's important, because a call-in is different than that one-on-one interaction.
Yeah, I'm so excited about having them on, come on,
Yeah.
because it's giving them, that avenue, because, how many times have we told our children, don't you say that, I don't want to hear it, and you just silence them.
Right.
And just think about how it feels to just be silenced. Like you can't express how you feel, you can't say what you're thinking, you just silence.
And
who
that's
wants to
why
be silent?
they're not understood, or they take different routes in life because they didn't have the understanding or the guidance because you silenced them and you couldn't hear what they had to say. And in order to hear what they have to say, how can we guide them? You know, so I'm excited too to give them that platform and to say, hey, this is what our children are facing, and maybe our parents, and as us evolving in adulthood and parenthood can hear that from them.
I think being a single mother, There's no man in the home. My children are boys. My oldest is a 10-year-old. So there's a lot of things that he is missing as far as that one-on-one interaction and that one-on-one relationship with a father. So I think that would be a great topic to talk about.
Absolutely.
Because as a mother, I become mother and father at times.
Yeah.
And I can never be a man, or I can never do the things that his father could do for him, but what am I supposed to do as an alternative? You know? So that'll be a great topic.
Absolutely.
Because I can see him going into a shell sometimes.
Yeah, and just to the vice versa, you know, my daughter, I'm a single mom raising a little girl, and whose father has chosen to be absent. But how she's growing up now, figuring out, you know, like she's incomplete. You know, I want her to always know that she's enough. You know,
Yeah.
she's not incomplete because, you know, he's choosing to be absent. You know, I want her to always know that she's more than enough, and to never feel incomplete. Like you are more than complete. So I understand what you're saying, but it's just in a reversal sense. You know, and I'm gonna get a little deep too. So, you know, something that when you were younger that you faced it by yourself, what was it? Can you think of something that, you know, you faced? Because I know, but can you think of something that you faced because you were just scared to tell someone?
I dealt with
I can see y'all.
I am sorry.
I can see your beautiful face.
Oh, girl, don't do that. I have in the past dealt with molestation.
Okay.
In home. It wasn't, you know, any of my siblings, but it was someone my mother decided to shelter because of the difficulties he was going through in life. He was in and out of jail. This was a cousin. And I didn't feel comfortable talking about it with no one until I turned 16. So this happened when I was a little girl.
Oh, wow.
And turned 16, and something else happened in our family with a young girl and a little boy up the street. And a comment just set me off. They were like, oh, well, you know, she'll get over it. And I blew up. But I didn't blow up in a sense of, you know, rage or anger. I blew up in a sense of automatic defense. You know, it's like, wait a second, hold on, think about what you're saying. Have you ever dealt with that? Because I have. Here I am going to tell you what happened.
Right.
And the crazy thing is, it was my mother who made the comment, and I'm like, okay, this is your chance. Speak. Tell her what you did not tell her all these years. And the moment I expressed it, I didn't get the reaction I needed to get. And so, as I mentioned earlier, I had to realize that maybe my mother didn't know how to deal with that. Maybe she didn't know how to interpret that, or possibly she didn't believe me, or whatever it was that was going on in her mind. That's not easy as a parent either.
No, it's especially when you hear your child tell you that you didn't protect them.
Yeah.
You know, like as a mother, I think, you know, how would I, just listening to your story, how would I feel if my daughter came to me and revealed something like that?
Right.
You know, like in the home, and I wasn't there to protect you.
Right.
You know?
And I think the issue is, I expected a reaction. And when I didn't get it, I was upset. So I expected, wait a minute, you my girl, you my daughter, you my baby girl. Like, what is going on? When did this happen? I got a couple of questions, but it wasn't the energy behind it. It was just like, really? Did that happen? Right. And exactly. And I was like, hold on. I don't like that. But I didn't say anything about it because I felt like, you know, this is not going the way I pictured in my head when I initially wanted to tell you. And so I was just like, just shut up. And that shut me up. I didn't say anything until I started my blog 2 years ago.
Wow. April, can you think of something?
The most I can probably say is bullying. I expressed it, but again, it wasn't handled as it should have, and I probably didn't realize how much it was affected until I got older. You know, you had to deal with it, and it was like, you know, I told my mom and my aunt at the time that was in the home, and you know, they were up there, but at the same time, I was also embarrassed of them coming up there. So I didn't want to say too much because my mom was like, you know. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, am I gonna? And then I accepted it, and it hurt more. You know, it affected me more as I got older.
Yeah.
You know, but I would probably say that was, you know, one of the things that came offhand. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and then how many times, you know, because I remember being bullied too, but how many times when you're bullied and you hear your parents say, oh, you know, they're just jealous, you know, that never eased that pain.
Easy,
You know,
yeah.
it
They're
never,
just jealous. So they
Yeah.
gave you the tools they had.
Yeah.
But it still didn't
And-
stop them.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
And see, and that also still falls in line with how they were taught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
this is why we're here. We're trying to, you know, be in a position
Mm-hmm.
where we're helping, we're reaching out, we're having kids coming to the show and
Definitely.
breaking down those walls, those barriers
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
say, talk to us, let us
Yeah.
know, and how can we help?
Yeah.
yeah.
You know,
and
so-
not only let
And
us
actually
know.
be a support to it.
Yes,
Right,
You know?
yes. Yes, and not only just let us know, but just know that it's okay.
Right.
You know, like it's okay to feel afraid, but it's never okay to hold it in because it builds up. And then, you know, you don't want to have that moment where you become, you don't recognize yourself.
Right.
You know,
So you,
yes.
tell us what happened.
I think for me, it would be, I had so many.
Me too. I was like, let me see which one I'm going to talk about.
I think for me it was dating. You know, I can remember having a relationship when I was, you know, in high school and how I was experiencing so much in that relationship and I didn't really know how to handle it.
Yeah.
You know, I was young and I was dealing with verbal abuse and, you know, sometimes physical, you know, and I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to tell, especially my mom, you know, because my mom was so judgmental, and I you know, I held a lot in because I didn't never want her to judge who I was. And then my other avenue, which was my grandmother, she really liked the guy, so I didn't want her to change her image of him
And judge him.
So, you know, I held it in, and then I suffered and my friends suffered, you know, because I treated them bad, but because I didn't know who I was, and
Right.
and I didn't know how to handle, you know, that relationship, and so it caused me to just kind of go into a shell, and
Yeah.
you know, and I kind of went through a down spiral, and I I really lost myself, but it took me leaving that relationship to start to find out who I was, you know, as a young woman.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are all important topics that we can, you know, talk about on the show and talk to young women and young boys.
Yes.
Because one thing I realize is that even today, my son is a part of the mentoring program that is all boys, you know, and I see that more that I have a boy, a little boy that they have programs for, you know, boys or basketball boys,
You
you
definitely
know,
keep
like
them
sports
busy.
boys,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So a lot of things is boys, so I don't really get to see the young girls or hear how they, but I was a young girl, so,
Yeah.
but I want it where, you know, it's equal, it's fair, and that we're able to not just see them on a court or not just see them doing something in the community, but also talking to them, you know,
Yeah.
just getting to know who they are,
Yeah.
where they want to go, what they want to be. I don't even hear the question being asked anymore, what you want to be when you grow up.
Right,
Yeah.
I don't hear that
Yeah.
question
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. no, that's-
Actually, and then when you do ask it, it's like, huh?
Right.
Mhm.
Like, what do you mean?
No, I
Yeah.
want to be a rapper.
Yeah.
Yeah, a rapper.
No.
And that's okay,
Yeah,
but
it
it's
is.
also, well, how are you gonna get there?
I think I'm not traditional, but I think I'm so used to lawyer,
Yeah.
police officer, firefighter. It was something that was just put into us
Yeah.
to think about more so when we were younger. Oh, you can be an athlete, you can be this, you can be
But look
that.
at the
But it
avenues
wasn't-
today,
Yeah.
it's huge.
Things have
If you
changed.
just say an entrepreneur alone,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's a wide door.
Right.
These children are
But they
making
wasn't- we
candles,
weren't
they're
taught that
making
then.
scrubs. I know.
Yeah, we weren't
And
taught
that's
that.
the beauty in it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you want to be a doctor?
Yeah.
A lawyer?
That's
a
it.
nurse?
Yeah, that
a
was it.
firefighter,
Yeah.
or police? And it was
Yeah.
like,
That's
I
it.
don't want to be that.
I want to be that.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't. That's not what I want
And I
to do.
thought, well, you know what? The reason I thought about that is because, like, a couple
Don't
months
forget
ago,
teacher.
and Don't forget the teacher. A few months ago, I asked CJ, I said, my youngest son, I said, what do you want to do when you grow up? He was like, I don't know. And I said, well, you want to be a police officer? And I went into ritual. And I was like, that's ritual. I can't ask my kid if he want to be part of a world where you have limitations.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. You don't have 5 choices. You have a million.
That's right.
You know, so I was like,
Yeah.
I just did that, didn't I?
Yeah,
I was like, a male nurse is nice, you know.
You can start, what would you like to invent? You know?
Exactly.
So,
Let's change our wording.
Yeah.
Let's change how we address them.
Yeah.
Because he's 4. So asking him what you want to be when you grow up, he might want to be a monkey.
yeah.
You know, he
Yeah.
might want to be because that
SpongeBob.
right, SpongeBob.
Yeah, and you know, something that, you know, kind of scares me, just thinking about my daughter as she's, you know, growing up into today's society, is will she know that it's okay to tell me?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like will she know it's safe, that you know, coming to me is a safe zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like I want her to always know that, but I'm scared, you know, I wonder how do I make sure that she knows that that I'm safe, you know?
Yeah.
That worries me.
That does, you know, worry me too because I look at my son, my oldest son, he's 10, and I look at him and I'm like, do we have a relationship? Do we talk? Can we talk about anything? And when I ask him certain things, it's just like, yeah, okay.
And
Yeah, you know,
thinking
how
back
can
as
I
our
get
parents,
deep
they
into it?
probably thought that they
They
had that
had one.
same relationship, and here we are just scared as ever to say it. But like you said, how do we say
And that's what I'm
we
saying.
can talk about anything to
Yeah.
us, but you know, still
Yeah.
giving you the guidance you need. You
Because
know,
I've heard my mother say that, you know, you can talk to me about anything. And I waited so long to say
Yeah.
so much, and I'm like,
And it's like,
she
can
gave
I?
me that, but I think it's because we also study people around us. We study who they are.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you know, and we're with them a lot.
I already know
so
how
I
you was
know,
gonna react.
Yeah.
I know how you, but I
And
also
facial
knew to tell
expression.
everybody.
Yeah, and
in the
facial
family,
expressions.
I didn't want my cousin to know.
Yes, right. You
So,
know, I didn't want
yeah.
my auntie to know.
Right.
Don't tell,
Now
don't
when we
tell
go to family
grandma.
gatherings, it's awkward.
Yeah. Right.
They like, yeah, that's the
You
one.
okay, babe?
Like, you ain't hear nothing.
Right.
Yeah. So that I think that was my curse. My
Yeah.
mother was the talker. And I
Okay.
was like, ooh, if I tell her,
Yeah.
she gonna tell everybody.
Yeah. See, my mom was not the talker. She was the judger. You know, like she
Judgment,
judged. You know, like
that
she
too.
was quick to go into judgment, or she was quick to shut down my feelings, and that really shut me down. You know, if I would express how I felt, no, that's not how girl, you just talk. Shut up, or you know, that's not what you're feeling, and you know, like silencing my feelings.
Yeah.
And that really caused me not to open up to her because I felt like if I did, then, you know, would I be like, is this how I'm supposed to feel?
Right.
Like she tells me how to feel,
Yeah.
you know, so,
Yeah.
and that was, you know, that was who my mom was.
Yeah. And you know, I think that it's important that we identify how we were raised and how we want to raise our children. That is
Yeah.
very important because just like you guys have in a position where you are influencing children every day, we all have that same interaction that we have with someone else that we can influence. And it's important that we carry that, you know, wherever we go because they're going to see us on an off day.
Yeah.
And they're going to know that's not how she usually is.
Right,
And
right.
that's good as long as you keep up who you really are. They're going to know, okay, they're not having a good day. I'm going to pray for them. Or I'm going to, you know,
Right.
let me talk to them, you know,
Yeah.
and see if everything okay. And that to have people who notice that person is off, not having a good day, let's
Yeah.
talk about it instead of that person, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of things get talked about that person, but not to that person.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that, you know, you feel comfortable being talked to and not at or down to or
Right. Yeah.
about. So,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, and just also, you know, letting children and, you know, young children know that don't look at your environment. You know, because I think of, you know, where we grew up, you know, like, I mean, we grew up in a so-called, you know, hood, but,
Yeah.
you know, like just knowing that this is not it, you know, like
Yeah.
to look further than where you are.
Right.
You know, like don't limit yourself to just around your surroundings, and don't let your situation just define who you are at that
Right.
moment, because, you know, just like a tree, things change. Yeah, before we go any further, but you have to tell the world what's your name.
I did. I said April.
Was that April?
Yeah.
She definitely said April.
Cut it out.